S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Son Goku Warrior Awakening was released on October 2015 as an over-the-counter regular release and retailed for 5,700 yen or roughly $50 at the time of release. Also seeing a reissue in June 2016 the following year. Super Saiyan Son Goku Warrior Awakening, or just Warrior Awakening Goku as collectors have dubbed it, is credited to be the first 2.0 figure in the S.H.Figuarts series, boasting new sculpt work and articulation that surpasses its 1.0 predecessor, making way for a new generation of 2.0 figures that to this day would make up the bulk of the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball line. Personally, it stands as one of my favorite figures out of any toy line, and is now scheduled for an updated re-release as a Tamashii Wrold Tour exclusive item. So welcome back to another archive review where I take a look at some older figures from the Figuarts Dragon Ball line that maybe I missed out on initially during my collecting journey or just never got around to reviewing for whatever reason. So for this review, I want to go back about 8 years, 2015 to be exact, during a time when the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball line was kind of starting to reinvigorate itself. Tamashii was slowly phasing out the old 1.0 bodies, not just with the Goku mold, but with the reissue of Super Saiyan Vegeta and Future Trunks as premium color editions, just before announcing an updated 2.0 version the following year. This was a turning point for the line, which would ultimately pave the way for many of the figures we know and love in our collection today. And the figure that started it all was the S.H.Figuarts Super Saiyan Son Goku Warrior Awakening. Other than the head sculpt borrowed from the very first Super Saiyan Son Goku figure and hand accessories, this release was a completely brand new sculpt based on the iconic first appearance of Super Saiyan Goku at the end of the Frieza saga. It was also the first time for Tamashii to delve into battle damage, featuring sculpt work that faithfully represented Goku in his epic final battle with Frieza. Aesthetically, this guy looks phenomenal, which is why I instantly fell in love with this figure. There is just something visually striking about all the tattered, torn, ripped areas of the gi wrapped around the body, purposefully exposing all the defined musculature. We even get all the scuffs and scratches sculpted into the gi, and while the same scuffing sculpt work is missing from the body itself, the upper torso has some beautiful shading that accentuates all the sculpted definition of the body. We are left with a figure that looks like it's been through hell and back, but clean enough that it doesn't look out of place with the other figures in your collection, a sort of controlled chaos. Tamashii also switched over to pad printing for the faces as compared to paint work seen in previous releases. This gave the faces a cleaner, more refined look, and coupled with the orange to yellow gradation of the hair is one of the best uses of the old Super Saiyan Goku 1.0 head sculpt. Quality-wise, this was Tamashii at its peak for the 2.0 body. Everything about this figure still holds up even after 8 years of heavy posing and whatever else I've subjected this figure to. The joints are still silky smooth and firm enough to hold any pose it did back then, now. Alright guys, so let's take a look at articulation, and it's nothing that we haven't seen before. It is more or less pretty much every 2.0 figure that we have, come to know and love. But there are a few differences, especially in the legs and of course the torso, because the torso is, a different sculpt. He does have a bit of his blue shirt remaining, but it is pretty much a, bare-chested sculpt there. So we are going to get a little bit of variation on the articulation. Before I get into that, I did cut my hand, as you can see here. You know how they're always saying, on the boxes for ages 15 and up, and I can't find it on the box. It's written there somewhere, and they weren't joking. I was swapping out some heads and I stabbed myself with a Goku hair, but that's neither here or there. So let's take a look at the head articulation. So first up, we get a really good amount of head articulation moving up. Goku can bury his head into his chest. Not too bad. You've got really good left and right tilt and some head swivel back and forth there as well. Joints still hold up. Really happy about that. I've had this figure for ages now. We get some butterfly joints in the shoulders, and it's, you know, it's not the greatest. And what I really like about this figure is that Goku has those huge shoulders there, you know. This is what he looked like when he first turned Super Saiyan. You know, he wasn't thinned down like how he is, I guess, now in Super. You know, this is Dragon Ball Z. This is, you know, buff Goku. But because of those big shoulders and his chest there, he's not going to get too much range going forward. But it is enough to get a decent Kamehameha pose or any kind of blast or punch pose that you want to get him into. He gets the T-pose there with the arms getting 90 degrees. 360 there at the shoulders. And we do get upper bicep swivel as well. Your standard double jointed elbows and swivels and wrists. Swivel and hinges at the wrists. So for the torso, we do get some pretty decent ab crunch. I like that. And it's been a while for me to actually, you know, pose this guy around. So I was pleasantly surprised at how good his mid-torso articulation is. You do get some pretty good tilt there, left and right, and you have waist swivel as well. The belt here is a separate piece, as per usual, and you get those brilliant 2.0 splits, fantastic side splits, but we don't get the upper thigh cut actually at the crotch area. You know, there's no movement going on there, but instead, right here and very well hidden, you get the thigh cut there, which I think works a lot better, not just, you know, functionally, but aesthetically as well. I think that works really, really well. And obviously it works on the left leg as well. And you do get double jointed knees. No boot cut, but you do get swivels there at the ankles and toe articulation. I got a phone call right now, but I'm going to ignore it. Feet going down. Not too much going up. Not much going up at all. And the terrible terrible ankle tilt. There we go. But yeah, all in all, it's still pretty good articulation. It's everything that you would expect from a 2.0 figure. But still a lot of fun to pose, and still looks and feels great in hand. So there we go, guys. Articulation for Warrior Awakening. For accessories, it's your standard affair with pretty much every 2.0 Goku release up until recent. We get 2 fists, 2 open palm blast hands, 2 Kamehameha hands, a set of fighting pose hands, and a pair of hands that we actually haven't seen since this release, a set of open palm hands with the fingers slightly curled, which I've seen being used a lot for this particular pose. Awakening Goku comes with 3 interchangeable faceplates, including a stern face, a teeth gritting face, and a shouting face with some of the most attitude in any shouting face I've ever seen in this line. This release is truly one I believe everyone should have in their Figuarts Dragon Ball collection. And I couldn't have picked a better character for Tamashii to introduce a brand new body at that time than this very first appearance of Super Saiyan Goku, the transformation that started it all. And maybe it's just me, but owning this figure is kind of like owning a piece of iconic Dragon Ball history in 6-inch plastic form. This release is truly one I believe everyone should have in their Figuarts Dragon Ball collection. And I couldn't have thought of a better time for Tamashii to introduce a brand new body, at that time anyway, than with this very first appearance of Super Saiyan Goku, the transformation that started it all. And maybe it's just me, but owning this figure is kind of like owning a piece of iconic Dragon Ball Z history in 6-inch plastic form. I think the only thing that I would have liked to see this release include was a wind-swept hairpiece, like how he was portrayed on Planet Namek just before the planet was about to be destroyed. You guys know the look that I'm talking about, and while we have some very good third-party options out there, it would have been nice to get an official one too. Still, not all is lost, as Tamashii could very well revisit this iconic version of Goku, or maybe even give us a wind-swept Super Saiyan hair accessory with future accessory packs, since this is what Tamashii are appearing to be leaning towards. Yes, the 2.0 bodies are now slowly being phased out as they did with the 1.0s, but even if Tamashii revisited this version of Goku and gave us a 3.0 Warrior Awakening Goku with all the bells and whistles, yes, even if it had better ankle articulation, I would still hang on to this release, display it proudly, and hold it in high regard as still being one of the best all-round figures ever in the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball line. And that's saying a lot. I am very much looking forward to the event exclusive. It looks like it'll be a nice upgrade to the original, and I'm super excited to see how it compares to this version. Yes, I will have a comparison review when I get my hands on a copy, so Tamashii, if you want to send me one, I'm all for it. So make sure you come back for that as well, which I know won't be for at least a couple of months. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the archive review. I know I got to do a lot more of these, not just for you guys, but also for myself. There are still a ton of figures I never got around to reviewing, a ton of figures that I really do enjoy and still want to talk about. So if you have any suggestions for future archive reviews, let me know. I'd love to hear all your ideas and suggestions. Sound off in the comments. I'll be back hopefully soon with a non-Dragon Ball review, but if there are any Tobey Maguire Spider-Man fans out there, you'll want to come back for this next review, as yes, it's going to be the S.H.Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man from No Way Home. I'm super pumped for this release, and this probably is the one that I'm looking forward to the most out of the three. So hope to see you back for that as well. And that's it, guys. Have a fantastic week. Take good care of yourselves out there. Be good to your mums. And as always, yoroshiku.